We're rolling.
Yeah. Well, shout out to all the white people out there that truly support black people. I mess with y'all. It's not really a race thing, it's really a character thing. And that's coming from the heart. But I feel like, as we scale, we definitely gonna have to have allies that are other races. Number one, really just to be a real community. Because when you talk about segregation and integration and all of that, it requires alignment. Because at the end of the day, y'all got resources that we need, and we have resources that y'all need. I just feel like we as a people, as black people, we got to draw the line. Caucasian and Asian countries taking resources out of the motherland to this day. That's where the line has to be drawn. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to this episode of Solutions. This is part 2. If you haven't checked out part 1 already, make sure y'all check out the link in the description. With that said, man, I pray that y'all are having a blessed day. Today we are going to be discussing ways we can take voting to the next level. Today is about permanence and, what did I say? Professionalism and permanence. With that said, man, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. We are accepting new topic requests, so if y'all got something y'all want us to cover or something that we didn't cover in this video, make sure y'all drop that down below and enjoy the video.
Cam, how can people capitalize on opportunities the new president will provide?
I'm sure there's a specific reason or a specific part of the person you're voting for campaign that made you end up voting for them. So I really feel like it's about setting up a plan on how you will take advantage of whatever that reason was after they get into office. So say what really stands out to me for one of the candidates' campaigns is what they intend to do as far as funding for businesses. So my thing would be, okay, they intend to set up these programs, research what they intend to do, how they intend to introduce them, and what will you do to either, number one, encourage entrepreneurs in the black community, or number two, scale your existing business. So if you're in the Chicagoland area especially, I encourage you get connected with the Chicago Urban League. They are a nonprofit organization, and they are open and willing to help black-owned businesses. So you get with them, y'all get a business plan set up, you get your business set up as far as registering with the state, you get your website set up, you make sure that you have at least initial course of action that you can execute on as far as going into business, whatever industry you decide to go into. Also, I encourage you to take it a step further by connecting with somebody that's already in the space. They don't have to be black, but if you want to go black, make sure they're not uppity Negroes, and make sure that they do good business. Those are actually very important. So, and that's how I believe we all can do our part in taking advantage in this upcoming election. Hello. What's going on, y'all? It's Cam from Solutions. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to all the black-owned businesses out there. Shout out to all the HBCUs out there. With that said, I hope y'all enjoy the video and that y'all have a blessed day.
Cam, what are keys to maximizing how much black people benefit from this election?
I believe the most important thing is to actually try. And when I say try, I mean truly getting up and going to support black businesses. As you all can see, today's episode is heavily based on businesses specifically, and I'm a firm believer that businesses and programs are really what's necessary to turn our communities around, if you haven't noticed already. So, number one, trying, meaning going and supporting these black-owned businesses. Number two, providing constructive criticism. If they give you something that you don't appreciate, like low-quality customer service, or they don't get your order right, or they don't fulfill whatever service, product, or good it is that they're supposed to be providing, then make sure you provide constructive criticism. And as business owners, they have to be receptive to that information. And last thing, which I would say is most important, continue to support these companies. Like when you get up and when you're gonna do it, try to think about them first. And in addition to that, when you're in there, I mean, this is really just how I think, but I say encourage them to scale. So are you supporting them, you giving them constructive criticism, now they have the resources, as in finances, and they have the support that they need to open a new location, which may be closer to you, which may be one of the reasons why you don't go to them on a consistent basis. So encourage them to scale, because as black people, we don't have enough companies that are national. As black people, we don't have enough companies that are national. And I really feel like that will make a huge difference in our community.
What else do you think we can do as a community to make sure this works?
I say definitely implement some interpersonal skill programs and male mentorship programs, specifically with fathers and existing actual entrepreneurs, because I'm harping on this because a lot of people may be like, well, everything he says is business oriented. Interpersonal skills is equally as important. And I know we're talking about voting, which can be a very emotional topic for most people. In my eyes, having structure in the family is what dictates how the children conduct themselves. If there's no strong black father figure, the children are bound to follow a headless snake. The children are bound to do what they see other poor role models doing. They bound to end up like rappers and these celebrities is out here doing 20v1s and random trends on the internet to be like everybody else when they really just not being themselves. And a lot of people don't understand that your provision, your joy is in you being yourself. That's why there's always a need for a new trend, because that's fleeting fake happiness. Because I ain't gonna lie, it's actually superficial. It's not real. People need to learn how to be themselves. And some cases you gotta defend yourself. In other cases, you just wanna be like everybody else. You from where you got some money and you still bad. Hence, poor role models. Hence, rappers. Hence, you know. Of course, they took the opportunity, which is something that I have to acknowledge, but I also have to acknowledge to the same extent that their opportunity may not be your opportunity. So if it is not something that you're truly passionate about, you shouldn't be doing it. That goes for you going to school, that goes for you working somewhere, that goes for you starting a business. If that's not what you are truly passionate about, you have to dedicate your time to learning what it is that you are passionate about, whose ideals in this presidential election you truly align with, because that's what's going to create the quality of life that you're seeking. Because subconsciously, you are seeking a certain quality of life by voting for said individual, or potentially just taking the lesser of the evils. However you look at it, I've heard different perspectives as far as this topic, but either way, you have to be true to self. And bringing that to on a micro level, voting is macro. Taking that to a micro level, we need role models. Young black children need to see black role models that are using their entrepreneurial skill sets in a legal space. Because if you're a drug dealer, you're an entrepreneur. You understand supply and demand. You understand having a standard operating procedure. You know you need to be here at a certain time, selling to a certain client for a certain price, and you need to not be in a certain place. All of that is the instinct of a businessman or businesswoman. So keep those things in mind as you move forward. In addition to that, a lot of people like to volunteer. I say come up with a community need-based survey, and I think I covered this in a previous video, but this really goes hand in hand. I say put together maybe a short list of businesses that you know that your community needs, and then at the bottom have like a other section where people that complete it can enter in a specific business model that may not be listed and submit it to you all, and you all do like complete the survey. So now you have a list of what the community needs, and there's a demand for it. So now you go out and you find a company like that, or you create that company. Now this is where that takes you down from the 90% chance of failing as a new startup. You know that the need is there because you just took a survey for the people that are in this community. So you know that they need this type of company. You know that they need a dental practice. So you go, maybe you end up going to dental school. Maybe you go to dental school, and opposed to working for a company for 15, 20 years, you decide that you want to work for them for maybe 1 or 2 or 5, however long you're comfortable. And you tell the owner like, man, look, I want to collaborate and I want to open a practice in my community, or the community that I came up in if you're not living there anymore. Because everything is dilapidated. The houses, you can visibly see the distress in the community. So if they're not open to it, that don't sound like somebody you need to be supporting anyway. And that's like a real life wake up call. That's an assessment. You know, we get so caught up in survival that we forget to live.
Off of them grades.
In addition to that, to take it a step further, we need to normalize using black-owned banks. You really have to ask yourself, you know, they consider us small businesses until you surpass 500 or so employees, I believe. You really have to ask yourself, how did these large banks get large in the first place? They got large by financing the slavery, meaning the acquisition of your actual ancestors, and financing the acquisition of the land that people down south used to use to enslave us. Well, we'll just say in Western society, because slavery took place all over the United States. So people used to think like, oh yeah, well, I used to think, I'm gonna use me as an example. I used to think down south was bad and up north was good, Civil War, whatever. The people that financed, they're number one, supporting it and making money off of it. Number two, in the event that the plantation owners defaulted, who do you think inherited that land and those slaves that they used to see as assets, that they used to consider 3/5 of a citizen? So we all need to take it upon ourselves to support black banks. And like I said, encourage them to scale. If they don't have a branch next to you, man, drop that in the, like, number one, spread awareness. And number two, tell them that. Tell them they need to scale as far as maybe one that's closer to your area, that's near another larger city that would actually make it, you know, lucrative for them as a business. A few examples are like One United Bank and Liberty Bank. Those are like two banks that came to me at the top of my head. But those are ones that actually have some locations that are kind of close to here. I think Liberty Bank is in like northern Illinois. They based out of Louisiana, I believe, but they have a branch in northern Illinois. So if nothing else, make sure you look into it, because would you rather have your people holding your money or the people that held you as money holding your money? With that said, man, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, man. Like I said, I pray that y'all are having a blessed day. Again, if there are topics that you all want us to discuss in the future, or maybe even extending this specific topic, make sure y'all drop that down below. Yes, we do reply to comments. Somebody commented that on the last video. So anything that y'all have, even if it's constructive criticism, make sure y'all drop it down below. I love y'all. Peace out.